Hey guys, welcome to an infinite flight airport editing tutorial. In this video I will show you how to edit airports for infinite flight and how to set up the software you need. The first step for becoming an airport editor for infinite flight is create a GitHub account at github.com. You pick a username, enter your email address and create a password. Once you have done that, send an email to airports@liveflightapp.com. You will then be added to the Infinite Flight Airport Editing team on Slack and GitHub. You will be able to access this website then, where you will find all the airports for infinite flight and the issues created by the airport editors, where they list which airports are currently being redone or are already finished. Once you have done that, go to your desktop and create a folder called Airport Editing or something similar. In this folder, create another folder which is called Custom Scenery. It's very important that you name the folder exactly like it is written here, because you will need it later to be recognized by World Editor. You can use the airport editing folder to put all your airport editing stuff into it, all the programs and so on. While you wait for the airport editing team to reply on your email, you can already create a folder at your desktop called airport editing or something similar. Inside this folder you have to create another folder which will be called Custom Scenery. It's very important to write it exactly as it is shown here, since World Editor has to recognize the folder later on. Once you've done that, you can start with downloading your software. The very first software you need, and the most important, is World Editor. You can find it at developer.xplain.com/tools/worldeditor. You can choose from 3 versions for Mac, Windows or Linux, and you have to download the latest stable version. So I will choose download WED 1.5.1 R1 for Windows. Once you download it and unzipped it, you install it to your airport editing folder and open World Editor. You will see this page which says please pick your X system folder. So you go to choose Explain folder and then choose the airport editing folder at your desktop. You will then see this page. Once you're done with that, you have to get the next software. It will be SAS.planet nightly. This software will get you high detailed satellite images for World Editor. You just have to choose the very first result with the address sasgis.org programs SAS.planet nightly. When you press it, you will automatically come to this page and the software will be downloaded. Once the data is downloaded, unzip the folder you got into the airport editing folder and you will find this folder. If you click it, you will find the SAS.planet application down in the folder. Please note that SAS.planet is only available for Windows but not for Apple. If you're an Apple user or you don't want to use SAS but another software for images, you can also download WEDbing. Again, choose the very first result in Google, go to download, and you will find the file at this Google Drive address. Again, download this folder to your airport editing place on your desktop, and you will find this. It is a Java executable file, so you will need Java as well, as long as you don't have it installed already. So now you have all the important software for airport editing, but there's one thing left. The airport data is missing. You can download the airports from github.com/infiniteflight-airport-editing/airports. You will find our airport repository there, and then you have to choose clone or download. You will have to download the zip files. This will take quite a time because it's a very big repository with all airports of the world. You already know it. Once again, extract the zip file into your airport editing folder, and you will find the airports folder with all the countries and all the airports on your desktop. So now you're ready to start with your first airport. Now the next step will be to create an issue for the airport you want to do at the GitHub page. I already entered the code here in the search bar, and now I can search for it, and I see I entered a correct ICAO code since there is a file present in the repository. But I also see that there is no issue created, nor an enclosed one, neither a open one. So I can go to the issue site at the Infinite Flight Airport Editing site and create a new issue with the title of the new airport. I will also leave a comment that it's Halle Open Airport. And of course that I'm gonna do it. I then submit this issue, and well, then we can start. I will go to World Editor and create a new scenery package. It will be called Untitled 1. I also rename it to Echo Delta Alpha Quebec, and then open it. As you can see, there's no airport present in the World Editor now, but I can change this by going to import apt.dat in the file drop-down menu on the far left side. So, where are we? Here, I will go to the airport editing folder now, go to the airports folder, we'll search for the country the airport is located in. It's in Germany, obviously. And then I will search for the ICAO identifier. Here it is, Echo Delta Alpha Quebec. I then choose the apt file here and open it. As you can see, Halle Open. Then I import it, and here we can see the airport as it is present in the repository and how it would be added if we wouldn't do anything here. You can see everything is transparent here, so I will go to View, Pavement Transparency and Solid, so I can see all the taxiways, how they will be shown in Infinite Flight. As you can see, the airport is not in a very good condition. Well, there are far worse examples, but in general I prefer to delete the whole airport before doing it. I mostly leave the runways because the settings are correct in the most cases. So let's go to the menu at the right side and basically delete all the folders of the markings, the ramp starts, the signs, the taxiways, and I will also delete the airport boundary since it is mostly incorrect placed. So you can see we now have one helipad left, the ATC frequency for the airport, the PEPI light, a windsock, the tower viewpoint and the airport beacon. You will most probably have to move the tower viewpoint and the airport beacon in the editing process, but well, we have no idea at the moment where anything of this airport is. So we will leave World Editor again and choose our photo software. So we will go to SAS in this case. If you have Apple, you can skip this part because we have to use WEDbing for this. I will show it afterwards. As well as Planet as WEDbing will need some time to boot, but it will come eventually. So I will go and search in the top search bar for Halle Open Airport. Hopefully we will find something there. Okay, it isn't found, so we go to Halle and we'll search it manually then. I already checked the position of the airport in Google Earth, so I know it is a bit to the northeast of Halle. Maybe we'll look for a pin. Yeah, here we are. There is the airport. In this case, we can see that the satellite image that is provided by Google Maps is quite good, so we will choose this one for our project. But if you find an airport with bad imagery, you can also select another map. We have a wide range of maps: Yandex, Bing, Yahoo, Google Earth. I have to say that there are some locations where you don't get some charts. For example, the local maps will only work in Ukraine and Belarus, but satellite image from Google Maps and Yandex will work most of the time. So now we have a good image here. We have selected the tile map in quality Z19, and now we can use the polygon tool here to select the area we want to be copied into World Editor. So in this case I will choose the rectangular selection. You can also use polygonal selection, where you just place points around the airport and the space inside of the points will be added to World Editor later. So rectangular, I will click here and then I can draw a nice box around the airport, choose it, and then this pop-up will appear. Here I choose in the download section 19 and 20. This is the quality of the image later, and I hit start. As you can see, it is processing now and downloading the picture, which will take some time, in my case around 3 minutes now, but of course I will skip this for the video now. So as you can see, the download is now completed and we have the pictures downloaded to SAS. What we do now is we hit this little rectangular thing, so we will come back to the manager here, but this time we won't use the download section but the stitch section. At first we will check KML because we want a file that says us where we have to position the picture in World Editor later. We will select the zoom in this case 20, and we have the quality set on 95%. This will become kind of important if you have a very big airport, because the bigger the airport, the higher is the risk that the file is too big for World Editor and it will only show a white space instead of the picture. So if you have that, either reduce the quality or reduce the zoom level to 19. We also have to select a place where we want to save it. I will again choose our airport editing folder here, and I will choose the airport code Echo Delta Alpha Quebec as name for the file. So we entered every information we need, so we hit start again. It processes it, and now we have the picture in our folder. So we can end SAS.planet now. We can go to airport editing again, open World Editor again, and then go to import orthophoto in the file section. So we choose Echo Delta Alpha Quebec. And after a short wait, we will have the picture here. Right. Now it is not positioned accurately, so we have to go to our folder and choose the KML file we also got. Open it, and there it says north, south, east, west, and some numbers. These are the coordinates for the north, south, east, and west boundaries of the picture. So we will copy the north number now with Ctrl C, go to World Editor, and choose the nodes on the top left and the top right corner, because they are at the northern end of the picture. We will enter the number we copied with using Ctrl V to the latitude section that will appear here. Enter, you can see the node just moved to the right coordinate. Then we will choose this node and enter the other north coordinate. Then we will go back to the KML file, choose the south number, enter it at the nodes at the southern end. You can see it moves again. And we will do the same with west and east, this time using the western and the eastern edge and the longitude section. Now we have the picture perfectly aligned to the real-world conditions, and to make sure that no taxiway will be blocked by the picture, we close the airport folder using this little arrow here, click on the picture and pull it down beyond the airport. Then we will lock it, so we are sure not to move anything during editing, and we can basically start now. As I already mentioned, SAS only works on Windows and not on Apple. So if you have an Apple laptop and you use Mac, you have to use WEDbing for that. So we will go to the folder and execute the WEDbing program. It's an executable jar file run by Java, so if you don't have Java installed, you will need to install it on your computer. We run this, and this will take a little bit till it starts. and it will automatically open your internet browser where you can enter the directory of your custom scenery folder. One thing that is very important is that you have to close your world editor window prior to using WEDbing, since it won't work otherwise. So, WEDbing already opened our browser, and we are now asked to enter a valid X-plane home directory. This means we have to enter the place where our airports are saved, and this is exactly what is written here. So as you can see, I already entered it, and now it no longer says enter X-plane directory, but it says too much detail, make visible in WED, and you can select the airports you created scenery packages for in World Editor. So we will choose Echo Delta Alpha Quebec, and it will automatically go to the airport. As you can see, it's a little bit different from the Google picture, since it is a Bing image. I always turn off show labels, and once we have positioned the airport in a way that it is completely visible in the window, we can choose 19 again, since we want a good resolution of the airport, and then we will hit make visible in WED. I won't do this now because I already got the picture from SAS, but this program will automatically copy the whole image that is visible in this window into World Editor, so you don't have to do anything from that I showed you in the beginning with SAS. So we can close the browser again now, open our file, we can also quit the WEDbing process, and we will find our airport with a satellite imagery we can work with. So now we will start with editing. There are many ways you can start with editing. I usually start with the taxiways and will continue with the lines afterwards, but you can also do it the other way around. So very first we will set our pavement transparency to 50 or 25%, so we can see what's underneath the surface. As you can see, the runway is a little bit off from the position it is in real life, so we will select the runway and move it so the edges of the runway fit the edges of the runway in real life. One important thing you have to remember is that there is a navigation database for infinite flight for ILS runways. So if you move an ILS equipped runway, you have to create an issue in the navigation repository for infinite flight on the GitHub page, saying that you moved the runway, so navigation editor will be into it and change the ILS so it is accurate again. So the runway here is now positioned right. Also check that the length and the width of the runway fit the measures of the original runway, checking it by pages like SkyVector or similar things, or using the airport chart. You can get airport charts for mostly every airport as long as it isn't a grass airport completely. on the internet, on different websites, or you simply ask Tom, aka Killed McHaggis, on the Slack chat. He will probably have a chart for you. So I'm not sure what this runway is now. It seems too big, so let's guess 130 as width. Well, probably 120. Yeah, this looks good. You can see the grass of the runway area looks a little bit different from the grass around it. So we will fit it here, and we have made our grass runway accurate. Make sure that there are no markings. As you can see, there are no markings on the runway in real life. So this is now completed. We also have a helipad here. Position it that the middle of the helipad is at the edge here, and that's it. It looks like there are lights around, so we look, here's already lights in yellow. So we positioned all our runways, so we can close the runway folder and lock it so we don't move anything here. Next, I will look where the tower is. It appears to be, it appears to be here, like it is already indicated. You can see the shadow, it seems to be a larger, and the beacon is also positioned on the tower. So if you don't have any indications on maps that it is anywhere else, just put it on the tower. You can also see here's the windsock, so we will position the windsock exactly on the windsock, and then we will move the beacon on the tower. So as you can remember, we deleted the airport boundary, so we will have to create a new one. Therefore we choose the airport boundary tool, which you can also select by pressing B. I also created with line marking. I sold, for example, just to see where I positioned it, and yeah, you can see it better and curve it if necessary. So it appears to end here. You can see the fence here. So here and here. Here it ends. It goes down here. Here's a little corner. Yeah, that's it. So as you can see, every time you click, you will create another point where it will be fixed. So click at the beginning and you will have the line completed. So everything inside this line will later be displayed as airport area. We don't have to curve too much here, or we don't have to curve anything here. So we will just leave it and remove the line marking and set it to none, because there is no marking in real life. So we completed our tower, beacon and boundary folder. I always put the lights, like the peppy lights that we have to position here, a little bit more accurate as well. Be sure to select the vertex tool again to move things around. So I will move the lights folder to the tower, beacon, boundary folder and the Windsocks folder as well, so we have all the equipment things in a separate folder, and also the ATC frequency will be put in this folder. In this case, this is indicated as a tower frequency, but I know that open info is not a real tower, but more or less a unicom frequency. So we will change this to CTAF, which is a unicom frequency in infinite flight. you can select all the different types of frequencies for the airports. So if you have a larger airport, you can add a tower frequency, a ground frequency, and so on. I will choose CTEF here and move the ATC the ATC folder to the equipment folder. I will also name it equipment so it's obvious where all the things are. And then we will add our first taxiway. Therefore we will use this tool, the Taxiway tool. It can also be selected by clicking T. And yeah, you add taxiways exactly like you add a boundary. You can also select how the edges of the runway should be marked. So, for example, in double solid yellow or double solid yellow black. I can see no edge lines here, so I will not add any lines, but it seems like there are some lights. So we will add taxiway edge lights in blue, and then we will start here. Also you can see it appears to be asphalt, so we will unchoose concrete and choose asphalt, and then we will start. When you are at the runway, make sure that you overlap the runway and the taxiway a little bit, so there's no gap in between later. And then go from edge to edge, from corner to corner, and set your fixed points to create the taxiway. Here you can see we have a curve, so you can just click the point and hold and pull, so you will create a little curve. You can also add this later on. So yeah. Nice tip, don't add any small taxiway immediately, since you can always create new points at the line, and if you do one long edge, you will also have a taxiway that has a straight line and not a zigzag course. So here again, here I won't create the curve immediately, but do it later to show you. And so I will go on with all the things. I will leave out the concrete pieces because I will add them later with a new taxiway. So you can see here is very much concrete, so I will end the asphalt piece here, go here, go there, and go back up, another curve, up again, curve. Here I would say we can leave the concrete part as asphalt because we cannot add any little detail. We'll end here, there, and over there. We will then return to the runway, overlap it a little bit, go back, and here we are again. So I will click inside this little circle again, and now I have a taxiway. As you can see, I also have taxiway edge lights at the beginning of the taxiway, but I don't want these lights there because they are only at the edge and not on the runway. So I will click one of the nodes, so one of these green little triangles, choose it, and there I can see light attributes and line attributes. I only have lights, so I will go to none here, and you can see it disappears. It may be that you get the wrong node, so you have to re-add the blue thing and do it from the other node. You do this everywhere you don't want the lights to be. So here again. And well, probably everything from here, since it's a bigger taxiway here, they usually don't have edge lights everywhere. Always check if there are more, or if you will create more nodes where you need lights or more where you don't need one, because you can decide if you add the blue lights later or immediately when drawn. So you have to do less work with removing or adding the lights. So I'm done here. Yeah, now the lights are removed. As you can see, I left out some taxiways to the runway, for example. So I will have to add some points. This is done by selecting the whole taxiway. As you can see, it is now selected after I clicked it. I will then press the Alt button and click on the edge of the line of the taxiway, and as you can see, there's another triangle, and here again, so I can start my taxiway from here. I will add some more points since I need a curve here and also here, and I have to continue with another point and a fourth. Then recreate the curve here and there, and again remove the blue lights. I will also do this on the other little things from the taxiways now, this taxiway, but I will skip this. Yeah, I now created the other parts of the taxiway, and now we can start to add the curves to our taxiway. This is also quite easy. You have to select one of the points. You can also do this when the whole taxiway is selected. You press Alt and hold it, and then press and hold your left mouse and then just pull. So you can see it will move, and we will also only concentrate on the curve we want to do now. So this quite fits the real world saturation, but you can see this one looks kind of strange, but this is no problem because we can remove this arrow here just by pressing Alt, Shift and then click on the arrow. So you can see it is gone, and so is the strange curve. Make sure that you position the arrow here right, because if you pull it too much on the other side of the line, you will have an overlap and the taxiway will become invisible. Well, I will continue with the curves here again without explaining it to you, but there is one thing. Since we created this thing at first, you can see we have an arrow here we don't want, so we will again press Alt, Shift and click it. If you create a curve by accident here, you can easily remove it by holding Shift and clicking one of the arrows. It is gone again. But you will also have to remove the node. This is quite easy. Click it and hit the delete button. So I will now continue with all the other curves without any explanation. I will just skip this. So I now finished curving everything, but I noticed one thing. As you can see here, I have some grass inside my asphalt. So we have to cut a hole here. So we use the hole cutting tool, selectable by pressing K. It is done exactly like you draw a taxiway. You just put points everywhere and then curve it. You can also select markings and lights for the holes, so only this line will have the selected lights and lines. So as you can see, we now have a hole and can curve it. Be careful when you create new holes, because you have to select the taxiway you want to cut a hole in at first. If you have another taxiway, which we don't have yet, and you cut a hole in the wrong taxiway, so you have a concrete taxiway here and want to cut a hole here, and you select the concrete taxiway and cut a hole here, you will not have a hole, and also the building or the concrete taxiway created will be invisible. So be careful with that. So no other holes to cut. So now we can continue with another taxiway. So we will do a concrete one now, without lights this time, because we have like one edge or maybe two where we will add lights, so it wouldn't be quite intelligent to add the lights to remove it afterwards again. So just position the taxiway around the other one. And once we're done here, we come to a very important point in infinite flight airport editing. As you can see, we have overlapping pieces here and here are gaps, so we want to join the taxiways, so it is one big taxiway. This is not done by overlapping like we did it with the runway, but by snapping. You have to make sure that you have snap to vertices activated in the upper left corner, so you can start with it. It is basically just pulling one of these points to the other one where it will be next to it, or where it is supposed to be. So put it here and it will jump on it, and you have the taxiway snapped. This is also important at the curved ends. So for that you have to select the other taxiway by pressing Ctrl and clicking on the taxiway. So now you can go to the node, create a curve as I already showed you, remove one of the arrows and then pull the circle on the other one, and you have to snap the arrow to the other arrow as well, so there is no overlap anywhere. This is very important, since when there is any overlap, Infinite Flight will render it as one taxiway and not as an asphalt and as a concrete one. So same here, and I will continue this on the whole taxiway. As you can see, here we have to create another point and remove the blue lights and put it here. It is no problem that you have a circle here and a triangle here. As long as this edge is not curved, it doesn't matter. So nothing to move here. So this area is completed. There's no concrete. So I will just add some buildings here. For example, this hangar. It is important that you always create buildings in the opposite type of pavement than the taxiway next to it is. So just add this as concrete here. And snap it again. Same here, but with asphalt buildings. So now I'm at an interesting point. As you can see, the building is a little bit further to the east than the taxiway edge, so I will just position the corner of the building at the very exact position and then save the building, snap it here and position another node here at the building and then draw the taxiway to the node to have a very straight line. So here again, as I already showed you with the edge of this taxiway here, if you have so much little taxiways go from the main taxiway, just start with one straight line and add the nodes to the edges afterwards, because you want the line to be as straight as possible. Same will be for the building here. You also want a straight line there. So you can see here there are some taxiways that look really bad. They may be disused. At bigger airports you will have charts to check if they are disused or if they just look very bad. So you can see I don't position the taxiways correct at first. I will just add 2 more corners, so I just have to draw them on the nodes I will create at the house. So I only have to be exact with the points I create here and not with everything I pull around. So as I do this round hangar here, I got an idea for another thing to show you. As you can see, I am able to use these arrows separately, so they are not the same length. But if I do it here, I have them coupled and they more or less do the same both. I can do this uncoupling by just pressing Alt and pull at one of the arrows. so I will get it independent from the other one. As you can see here, I only used 3 points to create a circle. It may not be the perfect circle, but it is quite okay, I think. The thing is, you want the number of nodes to be as low as possible, since the rendering in Infinite Flight will be heavily influenced by the number of these little dots. So try to use as little as possible. So for a circle, not 20 here, 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 and there, but, well, why not 3? As you can also see, since I created some taxiways in the meantime, you got a very long list, so we will just select all taxiways now. Go to Edit and click Group. You can also just use Ctrl G, and then you will see you have a group now. It's called Group 1, and I will call it Taxiways, and I can close it, so you can see our list is now completely clean. And if you have another taxiway you add, you can just go pull it up and add it to the taxiway folder. So that's it with the asphalt taxiways. I will add the grass taxiways later on, and will continue with the lines now. So now we will continue with the lines. First we will select the kind of the markings, and secondly we can again choose the lights we want. In this case I will not add taxiway center lights, since this small airport will not have center line lights for sure. So I will only select solid yellow. It appears not to be a solid yellow with a black edge, so just solid yellow and not solid yellow black. Again, you draw it like taxiways, with the little difference that you don't end it at the beginning in the end. Well, sometimes you do, but in this case it won't be the case. So I will just hit enter at the end, and we'll have the taxiway created. Again, I will not make a separate node here and here at first. I will add them later, and I also won't follow the turns at the beginning, but I will continue to follow the straightest line, or the line that goes straight for the most time, to get perfect lines. So here there is no real line that is going further, so I will just make a point here and here, and then I will add the line, and will then continue with another line. Again, just follow the line as long as it goes straight, and decide which line you want to follow at the end. So go here and do the loop, and I will stop here since there's another line crossing again. Now, as an example, I will show you how snapping works for lines here. Since we are editing airports for Infinite Flight, we will need to snap basically everything to everything. So you just create nodes here and there, and then put the lines together, make a curve, put them together, correct the curve a little bit, and then you will do this to all the lines you have. So this is the basic of the line drawing. I will continue with the normal center lines now for the rest of the airport, but skip it for you. So now we have a case where it is very useful to have the marquee tool, because you can now just select both lines, so this line and the long line, and as you can see, this is 4 times basically the same, so just use the marquee tool. You have the both tools selected, you go to edit, duplicate, and then just move it on. As you see, you have 2. You do it again, you have a third, and again you have the 4th. Again, you can see it gets very messy here, so we will have another group, this time for the lines, and this grouping will get very useful later. So we have another thing here. You will have to snap this line to the hangar, so it won't go into the hangar due to some rendering issues. But you don't only have to snap it once here, but twice, since you have 2 taxiways next to each other and you don't want them to overlap, not even a little bit. So just again snap the point and then snap the arrows to each other. Everything will be fine. Now, here you can see I messed the first time up, so we repair this, and now you can snap the line to the building. So now I completed all the taxi lines, and the next step we will do is we will add the hold short lines and some other lines like this white lines or this intermediate hold points, which are basically only white lines in this case. For this we will just use the taxi line tool, use the runway hold for the runways of course, and add them from the left to the right. Enter is there. If you want it to be from the orientated the other way around, you have to put it right to the left, or you just use Ctrl, Shift and R to rotate it. So we will leave it like this because the runway is on the other side. Here, so we have the runway holds, and some solid white lines here and here. Yeah, that's it. Also, we have a little part of taxiway without lightning, but I think there will be taxiway edge lights in this area, so we add a linear feature with no marking type, but the light type blue. So we will just draw this here, and there it is. And again, just snap it to the points at the taxiway. We will add it to the lines, and all the hold features we just created will be grouped in a separate folder called holds. And it is important here to make sure that the holds folder will be above the lines folder in this list, so the holds will be shown on top of the normal taxi lines. Another handy tip is just to lock taxiways and lines once they are done, so you don't move taxiways, which can happen very quickly, especially when you have one large taxiway and you move it by accident, because it happens very quickly when it is selected and you click on it and move your mouse, it is moved, and you will have to remove it or reposition it and snap it to all the lines and all the adjacent taxiways. So, of course, I told you about snapping already. Of course, the lines here, the hold lines, have to be snapped to the taxiway edges, or if they don't go to the edges in real life, at least to the center line. So here's another little tip. If you have a taxiway that doesn't have any edge lines, you can just add any line, like the ILS hold again, just to make the edge visible better, so you know exactly where you put your nodes, where you will snap it. Due to the fact that I have a curved point next to me, the new version of World Editor adds an error here. We just remove it because we want a straight line. Same will be here probably. Yes, here it is. We do this for all the taxiways again. And once we are done creating the nodes for the runway holds and intermediate holding points, we will change the line attribute for the taxiway here back to none, because there is none. Don't do this if you have a taxiway with taxiway edge lines at some points, because if you add lines to the whole taxiway and you remove them in the end, you will either have to choose none, or for example the double solid yellow for the edge lines, and as you can see, it will be added to the whole taxiway, and you don't want that in that case. So I will now snap the holes to the taxiways, and then this part is done as well. Well, as we can see now, we have finished all the lines, all the taxiways, at least the asphalt ones. I won't do it for the taxiways out of grass now, because it will be a bit difficult to find the right taxi routes there, because you see it's muddy grass here, so a little bit difficult to detect where it will be. At least here I know that there will be some grass parking spots due to the fact that there are lines leading to the edge. So well, you don't have to add, or you mustn't add, any runway markings or runway numbers manually. It will all be done automatically when rendered in Infinite Flight. So the airport would look very good now. You can switch the pavement transparency to solid, and you will see how it will look in the end. There's basically everything included. I will just set the material of the helipad to transparent, because we have the asphalt of the taxiway beyond. So now you could say this airport is complete, but there is one more thing you have to add. You all know the list in Infinite Flight where the gates and all the parking positions are shown that you can select to start your flight. This is one thing we add as well. Therefore you have to go to the ramp start tool, also selectable by pressing O, and there you get various options. You get MISC, gate, tie down and hangar. It's very self-explanatory, so if you have a gate, it's for example a remote gate or a gate position at the terminal at an airport. In this case we don't have any real gates, it's a general aviation only airport, so we will stay with tie down and hangar in this. You can select the equipment type. Since I will start with the hangar positions here, I will only select props because the positions are very small. So therefore I will use the aircraft size A and of course the ramp operation type general aviation. Make sure you select one thing, or you select all the informations for the positions you create, since you want it to be exact, and it might be that your airport is rejected in review if you don't add, for example, an equipment type or a wrong size. So I will now start with positioning. The first position, it will be a hangar position, so I click and have this cross and will pull the line in the direction I want the nose to face. So if I leave it, you can see I have a little airplane, and this little airplane is the point where the nose gear will later be positioned when you spawn in Infinite Flight. You can also visualize the size of the airplane and an approximate size of the airplane. So A will be all the general aviation planes. However, what you can see here is a little bit bigger than a Cessna, for example. You can see this size by selecting ATC and Taxi and Flow in the menu down here. And well, I can show you here. We have different sizes from the little general aviation plane to F with the A380, which is far too big, of course. So I will continue with the hangar positions now without explaining, and will come back to you when I have some information about positions positioned on lines. So now I completed all the spawn points in the hangars, and I will continue with the spawn positions on these lines. I will orientate them facing to the east now, and therefore, since it is on a line, I will have to do something special here. At first I will select jets as well, since it is a larger position, so there may be enough space for a jet, and I will select size B, and also it's a tie down now. I will draw it first with a estimated orientation, here a second one, so I can compare the size. So it might get a conflict with regional jets, but you should get two Cessna citations next to next to each other. So I do this several times, and now, since you want to position it on a line, you snap it to a point on the line. You have to decide if you want to do it on a already present thing or if you create another one. I will do it at the edges here. So you snap it and then pull it and orientate it exactly on the line so it is really good positioned and not like a little bit disorientated. So be very accurate with that, otherwise the planes will stand kind of weird on these lines. So once we have done that, so once we have done that, we can take another look if there is any greater conflict. There will be no bigger issue if you have overlapping Class A airplanes, since the Cessna will be much smaller. And yeah, if you have A380s overlapping, I would think about the size of the aircraft at that position. So now we have a lot of new ramp starts with different numbers. This is obviously not that what you're used from Infinite Flight, so we will select the different positions and change the name. The name you enter will be the name that will be visible in Infinite Flight and in Live Flight. So since these 2 or 3 hangars are the only hangars we use, we can call this position simply hangar. And here's another important thing. Due to the fact that Infinite Flight will sort the positions by the alphabet and by the numbers, you have to add a 0 in front of the 1 so that 10 will not be sorted in between 1 and 2 or something. So you don't want to have 10, 1 to 10, 1 to, or 1, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and so on. So it is just sorted right if you do it with a 0 in front. Even if you don't have 10 positions with the same name, it's just that it is the same at every airport with every parking position. So I will add the names to every position now. This will need some time again. I will skip this again. So the airport is now completed. I added names to all of the ramp starts. There's only one thing left I have to check. This is the field elevation. It is either 347.1 feet or 105.8 meters. You can change feet and meters in the view menu. And please compare the field elevation here to the field elevation you get from official charts or by looking it up at Google Earth, so you have the correct altitude. Once you have checked that, go to File and check if the export target is set to X-plane 10.5, and if it is the case, go to export apt.dat, go to airports, go to the country your airport is in, go to the folder of the airport, and then save it as a new apt.dat. So you now have it on your hard drive, and the only thing left is you have to send it to review in an email. Just attach it to an email that has the name of the airport or the ICAO code of the airport, and add some information, what you have added, what you have removed, if you have it done from scratch, so if you did everything new like we did apart from the runways, and then send it to airports@liveflightapp.com. You will receive a reply within some days, and it will say if it's added or if you have to change some things, and then your airport is completed.